Hello, everyone. Happy April. And we're going to look at the night sky in April, which is not very prominent. So you won't see too many things up in the night sky, but there will be some very prominent fixed star placements, which you can utilize, hopefully, in your life. Let's take a look at the January 1st. April 1st, not January 1st. Okay, this is the April 1st. So we are going to start with the April 1st energy in a minute. Hopefully, I will be able to do this for you. Okay, so this is it. So what you can see is the crescent moon right an hour after sunset. The sunset in London is going to be at 7:30 p.m. And an hour later, you will be able to see the crescent moon in the western sky and Jupiter and Mars up there. This is also a Mars-Saturn trine, which has been there for quite a while. Actually, you can see that Mars is still near Pollux, the two stars of Gemini that are the brightest. We are going to look at it in a minute. So you won't be able to see the trine itself, but you can utilize it, certainly. Saturn and Mars don't really like each other. Whenever you see it, it's like restricted will or powerful, restraining energies. But this is a trine, so you can actually utilize it to your benefit. And what's more, the crescent moon is making a sextile to Venus, which indicates that the two feminine planets are in harmony. Venus, of course, is the lover, and is the mother energy. So here, this is what you see in the night sky if you look up. Here's the crescent moon nearing the Pleiades, which looks like a tiny little Big Dipper, really tiny. This is the tiniest of the constellation. They are above, the stars are above Aldebaran, the alpha star of Taurus. And Jupiter just left Aldebaran in a week's time. Here, this dash indicates the solstice, the summer solstice, the highest point where the sun is going to be on the summer solstice on June 22nd. And here are the two bright stars of Gemini, Castor and Pollux. Castor is the alpha star, and it is the archetype of the successful artist, while Pollux is the suffering artist. But interesting enough, Pollux, the beta star, is now much brighter than Castor, because over the decades and centuries, Castor became dimmer and Pollux became brighter, which indicates the potential of swapping first and second. So actually, and this happens many times with artists, very prominent artists of the time become non-existent later on, and unrecognized artists can rise to heights after their death. And Vasat is actually the elbow of the celestial twins. So those are the most prominent stars of Gemini. And on April 1st, if you look at at 11 a.m., of course you can look at the sky, but you won't be able to see anything. But there's something important happening. First of all, Venus and Mercury are still retrograde, and they are conjunct the North Node. Actually, the Venus is exactly conjunct at 11 o'clock on April 1st, indicating although both Mercury and Venus are retrograde, which shows that they are really working inward. But of course, the North Node is our karmic intent, and Venus is our harmony. So you can actually, with this starting energy of the month, you can actually do a little ceremony, creating harmony, well-being, money, security for yourself as a goal, as like a karmic task for yourself. And Mercury gives you the understanding how to do it, and Saturn gives you the support because it actually backs this conjunction. On the 7th at dawn, if you're willing to get up right before sunrise, you should be up there at least an hour before sunrise. And if you live somewhere flat where you can see the eastern sky, you will see the three strings of planets, Saturn, Venus, and Mercury, rising on the eastern horizon. So there's this triple conjunction, which make a triple trine to Mars. which you won't be able to see, of course, at dawn, because its mass is currently in the night sky, and it appears after sunset, not before sunrise. There's also a Jupiter-Sun sextile, and Mercury is stationary. So we have a stationary Mercury on the 7th of April, and stationary planets greatly amplify their original being, their original archetypes. When they are stationary, the archetype becomes very strong. What's the archetype of Mercury? Someone who understands stuff, someone who can communicate. Mercury is the communicator, the negotiator, the student, and of course also someone who can tell you truth. So that's quite important, I think, on the 7th. And here's what you will see in the night sky. As you can see, Venus is to the north of the celestial equator, and Mercury and Saturn are to the south. And Venus and Saturn are not just conjunct, but also contra-parallel each other, because they are approximately at the same height, distance from the celestial equator. On the 11th of April, this is the most important date in April as far as stars are being considered, because the moon will be on Diadem, Venus on Markab, Jupiter on Rigel, Saturn on Matar, Mars on, and there's going to be a Mars Mercury trine, and also a Moon Venus Sun quindecile arrow. Let's take a look at this, and then we are going to look at the star placements. What is a quindecile? 165 degrees, and this is usually translated or delineated as obsession or ambition. You can be very obsessed about something, but this drive can give you success if you are willing to pursue it. And this sun-moon quindecile is the last aspect before the full moon on the 13th. So it's quite important. And it gives you the drive to kind of balance your emotions and your ego, let's put it this way, or your conscious and subconscious urges. So that's one side of the quindecile arrow, which is completed or close by the Venus Sun semi-sextile, which is doubly applying, because Venus is retrograde and the Sun is going forward. And the moon is at the apex, so your emotions, your soul, your spiritual essence is at the apex, and this gives you, right before the full moon, it gives you the potential to create something which gives you harmony, and at the same time is for your spiritual benefit. And if we take a look at these fixed stars, so again, the moon is on Diadem, which is Alpha Corona Borealis. No, sorry, Alpha Coma Berenice. I don't know why I'm mixing up these two constellations. Sometimes I do. This is Alpha Coma Berenice. Venus is on Markab, which is Alpha Pegasus. Jupiter is on Rigel, which is the beta star of Orion. Saturn is on Matar, which is again a star in the constellation Pegasus. So let's take a look at these two. Here you can see Rigel is below, of course, the celestial equator. Here is Orion, and the belt stars are very close to the celestial equator. Actually, out of the three belt stars, Mintaka is right spot on the celestial equator. Here's Mars, still very close to Pollux. Jupiter is aligned with Rigel. They are not conjunct, but they are aligned according to ecliptical coordinates. And Saturn is on Matar. Again, they are aligned and not conjunct, of course. Here are the stars. You can see when they named the stars within a constellation 400 years ago, they simply selected the brightest star. They gave it the Greek alphabet alpha. The next one was beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, and so on, until the Greek alphabet continued. And you usually are able to see the alpha and beta stars for sure. But of course, these are not brightness. This is not brightness considered as an absolute brightness. it's a relative brightness within the constellation. So sometimes an alpha star is dimmer than an eta star in another constellation. So it doesn't give you, you need to see the magnitude to see really how bright something is. But actually Pegasus has quite bright stars, and so does Orion, because you are able to see Orion stars even within the cities, within dense cities. So here's the, let's take a look at Orion first. So here's the celestial hunter. Here are the bad stars. Mintaka is right spot on the celestial equator. Alpha is Betelgeuse, which is one of the most prominent and best stars. Unlimited success is linked to it. This is beta star Rigel, which is the foot of the pharaoh, who is protecting and teaching his subjects. The gamma star is Bellatrix, and usually Betelgeuse, Bellatrix, and Rigel are the most important ones. And in Pegasus, you can see that Markab is the heart of the celestial horse. The whole Pegasus is about how bright ideas are jumping out of your head, because Pegasus was jumping out of the head of Medusa, the severed head of Medusa. And Alganib was very prominent in a recent new moon, so that's what it is. The tip of the it's the tip of the flying horse's wing, and that is what soars the highest. That is why this particular new moon was about soaring very high. The delta star is Sadabari, and Shea, the beta star, is the healing word for suicide victims, and Matar, which is the knee of the celestial horse, is where you bend the knee, where you learn to bend the knee, and Saturn is right there. So these are the stars of, and here's Diadem. Diadem, Alpha, Coma, Berenike. There's a beautiful myth linked to it, how Berenike wants her husband to come home from the war unharmed, and she cuts her hair and puts the braid in on the altar, but it disappears, and the gods put it on the sky, the night sky. This is a new constellation, Coma Berenike, Berenike's hair, and Diadem is a star where our quietly done sacrifices are being gathered. So it's a very prominent star. And the moon, you can now, with the help of the moon, you can actually channel it down to you. And here's our Libra full moon, which will be on the 13th of April at 1:22 a.m. And this full moon, this particular full moon, is on Spica, which is one of the most brilliant and brightest and most beneficial stars in the night sky. It is the alpha star of the celestial Virgin, Virgo. And if you take a look at the energy patterns, which we are going to look at, I promise when it comes near, we are going to do a full chart analysis on this particular full moon. But you can see that Mars is still making a triple trine to Venus, Saturn, and Mercury. Venus is stationary, so there's going to be a very strong Venus in this particular chart, and it also makes a quincunx to the moon, so it's actually dissolving the tension of the full moon. This is what it's going to be. So the moon is going to be on Spica. If you are able to look at the sky at a little after 1 o'clock, you will see the moon very close to Spica. The full moon, the space of the full moon and the Spica will be like about 1 degree apart. Why is this important? Because you can actually watch a case of occultation. What is an occultation? An occultation occurs when the moon is covering either a fixed star or a planet. It's usually with the fixed star. This is what we use. So actually at 1:30 a.m., you will see them about 1 degree apart. And because the moon doesn't have an oxygen atmosphere around it, it really shines very brightly, and there's nothing blurring around it. So what you will see, it's really funny. I love watching an occultation. This is what's happening. It looks as if the star would move towards the moon. It's the moon who is moving towards it. I mean, think about it. The moon travels 12 to 13 degrees a day. So it means that in every 2 hours, it makes 1 degree. Okay, so you need to watch this from 1:30 a.m. until even 4:30 a.m. and the sunrise will be at 6 o'clock. So hopefully you will be able to see it if you can make it. I mean, I'm a morning person. I'm not a night person. So 1:30 is a little bit too early for me, but I might just get up and watch it because I love the what happens. So because the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. It looks as if the star would move towards it, would swim towards the moon, and all of a sudden the moon swallows it, and 2 hours later you will find it on the other side. This you may not be able to watch because it will be too bright by then, but it's really a fascinating thing to watch. And here are the stars of Virgo. And again, the alpha is always the brightest. The next brightest is beta, which in the case of Virgo is Zaviava, and gamma is Porrima, delta is Alpha, and epsilon is Vindamiatrix. Those are so alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and epsilon are the important ones, always within the brightest ones in the constellation. The alpha star Spica is the life-giving hand of the celestial virgin, the feeding hand. It's the shaft of wheat that she's holding in her hands. The other star, which is the other hand, which is Epsilon in Virgo, is Vindamiatrix. She is the pleasure-giving hand of Virgo. She's the fruit picker. That's how it's described. You will be able to see that Zania and Hise are on the celestial equator. It's quite fascinating. Here are the stars, how they appear in the night sky. Here's the celestial equator. Spica is slightly towards the south. It's at about 12 degrees below the celestial equator, and Vindamiatrix is on the other side. And as you can see, Hese, which is Zeta Virgo, and Zania, which is Eta Virgo, are spot on the celestial equator, creating this divine balance. So that's why they are important. And 3 days later, on the 16th, again very early in the morning, there's an energetic water grand trine. When I'm recording this, we are one day after this attempted blow up of Putin. One of his cars was blown up. And interesting enough, Zelensky, a day earlier or 2 days earlier, stated that Putin is going to die very soon. So that's quite interesting, and it tells you a lot about how the old power still has power. As I phrase it to my students, and I learned this phrase from a very wise man, that sometimes when a star is breaking up, it still has enormous power. And that's exactly what's happening. The so-called rule-based universe that was the hegemony of the United States is really falling apart. And we now have this three-body system, Russia, the United States, and China. And when you have a three-body problem that's not really solvable all the time, that is what you see, this turbulence in politics. And this attempted murder of Putin or assassination of Putin is just one sign of it, that the old power is not willing to let go yet, although they don't really have too much energy anymore because they are no longer able to suck it out of the American people. So that's the problem. So they need to find new resources. Russia would be brilliant because they have unlimited resources, and that is why they will attempt this murder many, many times to come. This is what I think. And this is what the energetic water grand trine suggests, because Mars is, of course, the will. The moon is the spiritual essence, but also the people. And Mercury is thinking, logical thinking. And it's at the very, very end of Pisces, on Shat, the beta star of Pegasus. which is the healing word of suicide victims. So it's a suicidal attempt to somehow create something, but it's stored because it's anoretic. And of course, full of emotions, all kinds of emotions. And this is right before Easter. So it's quite fascinating. We will see what is going to happen. And here is Shead. And as you can see, Mercury is on Shead. This is an equatorial view. This is what you see. This is how you look at the night sky. And this is how you can actually assess anything. Of course, it's in the morning. So this is right after sunrise, right before sunrise, sorry. And the equatorial view doesn't give you the idea that this is of the same degree. So I actually created an ecliptical coordinates for you as well. And this shows clearly that Shead is almost on the equinox line, and Mercury is also spot on there. So that's what it is. Mercury is ready to move into Aries in a second. And here is April 25th, 4:15 a.m. We have a triple conjunction of Saturn, Venus, and the Moon. This is still a blocking conjunction because now Venus is, of course, moving forward, and so is the actually not blocking. Sorry, it's already a supportive conjunction because Venus is preceding Saturn and Venus at the same time, and there's also a separating Sun Mars square and also Venus Jupiter. Well, actually, it's a Venus Jupiter, but also Moon Jupiter and Saturn Jupiter quintile, 72 degrees, which is ingeniousness, and you also have a Sun Jupiter semi-square, which is a mild tension. Okay, here it is, the triple conjunction. You can see that Venus is almost on the celestial equator, and the Moon and Saturn are below it. And again, this can be seen at dawn, right before dawn. Okay, and 2 days later, there's a Taurus new moon, again on a two very prominent fixed stars, Hamal and Shadir, and they are still squaring Mars. So there's a Mars Sun and Mars Moon square. They are separating, doubly separating, of course. Both the Sun and the Moon are separating from Mars. And the fixed stars are going to be important. You can see that this is still the Venus-Saturn conjunction is still very tight. This is what you see in the night sky right after the new moon, and you will see Jupiter and Mars up there. Jupiter now is separating from this constellation Taurus, and Mars is still very close to the stars of Gemini. And here are the two fixed stars on the new moon. As you can see, they are not conjunct, but they are aligned. One is Shadir, which is Alpha Cassiopeia. And Cassiopeia, according to the myth, is a very beautiful queen, the wife of King Kepos, who is the Ethiopian king. And she is so incredibly proud of her beauty that she actually makes the Nereids enemies. So these are the nymphs, the water nymphs. And Poseidon, the sea god, gets very, very angry and sends a huge whale there to follow the land. And King Kepos is only able to appease the whale by kind of offering her own daughter, Andromeda. But then comes Perseus, the hero, and saves her and marries her. So that's the story. And Shadir is the feminine power, what you can make with your beauty, your femininity, how you utilize your femininity and beauty. That's what Shadir represents. And Hamal is a very masculine star. It's the alpha star of Aries. And it describes how you simply follow your own pathway. You don't care about circumstances. You don't care about obstacles. You just move along and you march towards your goal and destiny. So those are two bright and important stars that are going to be in this particular new moon, which we are going to look at, of course, in detail once it is nearing. So this is the night sky in April. happy stargazing and happy April. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.